What's going on there at Mamelodi Sundowns? We have Tapelo Masego not willing to play for the club anymore. Monapale Saling as well. He's been iced out. Monapale Saling or Monapule Saling has been training alone. We've heard Ukado also tell us that he tried to talk to the boy at the very same time. Apparently, allegedly, Monapele Saling has broken what we call locker room rules. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the pod. This is your boy Machine again with a new video talking Mamelodi Sundowns. Now, before I go into the video, please don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and please do share the video. It helps the algorithm to share more videos to people like yourselves. Hot topic this week. With the Betway Premiership now kicking off. And these are two talented wingers. Let's not forget, Kuti is not just any player. But now, if you look at the story in terms of why it becomes a hot topic, why we have to talk about it, it's a conversation that's long been ongoing. I'll start with topic number one, Tapelo Maseko. Hot property at one point, he was bought from SuperSport. I remember the boy had very good performances with SuperSport, where there was a lot of brilliance and a lot of promise. And at the time, I mean, the big three, when they call, it was also coming that eventually he'll land at a big club, but we don't know when or where at the time. But obviously, with SuperSport at the time, having a good relationship with Mamelodi Sundowns winning everything. I think Rolana was still there, Mangoba was still there. Everything felt like, it was making sense. Maybe them buying him at a very young age will have a proper way of being transitioned, maybe for the future and playing some in Europe. But there was a story, right? And so it happened that obviously, as we know, Sundowns bought him for cash, big amount of money, and eventually he came to East Sundowns. Now, the issue that now we started to see unfold, because he even made good performances or good appearances here and there at times, and even at some point qualified for AFCON under Hugo Bruce. And, the story now was making sense, But after AFCON, I think he got an injury at some point. Then we never saw him. And obviously, we saw that he cried out on Instagram. Now the whole world was watching. Now we get to understand how the boy is feeling. Now he's lost the passion for the game, and the story continues. But now, that's how the story now starts. So he gets a loan deal, goes to Cyprus, and obviously he features in the World Cup, and we start seeing glimpses of the Masego that we knew the boy to be. We knew that this is the player that we have been long time talking about and wanted to see. So obviously, we're not too privy to understand what could be the reason why Sundowns hasn't been playing him and why we haven't seen him for a long time. That's a big question that the club needs to answer. But we as fans, we always have to speculate because we want to see young talent shining. However, I guess the big talking point is how certain players are treated at the club, which is why it becomes a hot topic. Because rumors have said along the lines that Kutlwano Ditlaku, they've already declined their offer, which is around the region of 30 million. Khoza, Masbongi Khoza was also wanted in Europe. They declined. This boy who plays on the right, Omapena, we haven't really seen him, and they've been sending him back to the DDC. He's been coming back in the matchday squad. He's been making X amount of appearances. Hasn't really been the greatest of environments for young players to thrive or to be sold. Which is what we were thinking. This is exactly why you develop young players. So you can either give them game time or actually sell them. So that's number one, right? Hot topic number two, Muna Ule Salim. Salim was whole property at Pirates. Like this guy came, he was loaned at some point, I think by Swallows, then eventually came to Pirates at some point. Then he made good appearances. I think they signed him on a permanent deal. He worked his way up the club. He became an important player. Played very instrumental games. Won them cups. I think the name of Orlando Pirates was synonymous with such players, and he raised his hands at the time when Sundowns was really dominating. So this is proper talent, and then they still within a certain age. I mean, no one knew about Saling until he came to Pirates, and I guess 2 seasons back, we saw in the documentary when Rivera was still there that there was started they had he had friction with the club, which we till today will never know. I think with his agents at some point they did come back to us and they sold us a story telling us about him having personal problems and all these things. But in the documentary, it seemed like there was a bit more concern from the coach in terms of Saling maybe thinking he's too big for the club, no longer wanting to play or work as hard as other players. Maybe that's the sense of it, or maybe he's not respecting the locker room now, as they would have thought a player like him would have been. So maybe he was getting too big for the club. We don't know. Now, why am I talking and how does these two connect? That's the big question because on the outside to us, it looks like maybe Sundowns not creating a good environment for these players, but I don't think so because my take on this is that these two stories don't link. But if you were to be a fan and be quick and not only look into the facts, you'll think these two stories are linked. But it's worth talking about it because it looked on the outside like these two stories actually mix. But as you can see, is that the Saling saga, especially with Mikel Cardoso, giving us an idea, it starts to seem like could Saling be having a more of a discipline issue? Because now Pirates seem like they more protected the boy instead of actually taking out all his laundry. Because at some point he missed training, and there was rumors of him signing a pre-contract with Kaiser Chiefs. I don't believe that till now. Ended up being loaned to Obi College to gain game time, and they ended up releasing him. So Pirates as a big club, I guess maybe could it be that they were protecting him, and Pirates being a club where most of the time we don't know what players get up to behind closed doors and what measures do they take in regards to was he sanctioned at some point, probably was he disciplined, was it part of a disciplinary way of him being transitioned back to the club should he behave in a way that influences the players, because at the time, if you remember, Paris was already peaking and he was part of those senior players who was helping the club. But now if you have a disciplinary problem, obviously it sets the tone to other players that maybe the club couldn't exactly deal with anymore. So with the reaction that Riviero had in the documentary, it left a lot of things unanswered. So we ended up hearing, watching it, and only to find that there was not much. And his agents as well, in terms of the statement, it was just PR answers. Now, I want to go back and so go back to the Masego and the story because obviously on social media, there's this perception created by Sundowns to make us all believe that maybe they are not a selling club. They want to hold players, and there's been conversations around the fact that they sign players to make sure that their rivals, other opposition, do not strengthen their own clubs. So that now that's why when they come to their clubs, it becomes an environment where they actually are not needed. They were not signed for them to play for the club per se. They were signed to make sure, because you remember Rulani had made a statement that left us thinking maybe that's the case. But when it comes to these issues, you can tell that these are separate issues. I think with Cardoso as a coach going to Masego and actually giving him the opportunity to say, look, buddy, I'm willing to transition you back into the squad, so you can have maybe some sort of thing of staying and being given what you want, or being given more minutes. However, Masego has chosen. We've seen that there's been rumors of him going back to Europe, this time maybe on a permanent deal. And with Yagasaling is now painting a picture that could it be that the Pirates all along was actually protecting the boy for as long as we have thought that maybe there was some sort of thing, because now he has done that at Pirates, and Pirates had to create a way of us as fans not thinking about whatever's happening and focus on football. At the very same time, Sundown now becomes a hot topic in regards to how these players are being treated and how they're dealing with this whole situation. Unfortunately, maybe with not everyone liking it, his laundry is out there now. We already know that he's not training with the club, and probably this means we won't see him for a while. And now it's sad for me because he's still within age, a very, very talented player. And I hope Umasego can find a solution where if he does get a permanent deal, that means we'll see him more um, in the squad, because as you've seen, Peter Mosimane has been appointed as the new Bafana Bafana coach. So that's my take. That's all I have, and I'd like to hear you guys out and see what you think about this whole situation surrounding these two players, because it's one of the generation of talented wingers that we have produced in our country, and we might lose them, especially when it comes to the selling situation. Because after Sundowns, I don't think any club would be willing to touch him. And just want to hear your thoughts, and yeah, do like the video, do share if you've made it this far. Let's have the conversation and tell me what you think. And once again, congratulations to Pito Mosimane. Hope to see him, and I'm quite excited to see what's going to happen with the squad. So that's all I have. See you on the next episode. Today, Glala is Sundowns against the TX Galaxy, and probably we'll see each other in the next video, depending on how the results go. This is your boy, Umshi.